Hello and welcome to the Australian Gamer Show. I'm Yug.
I'm Matt.
And tonight, it's all about the E to the 3.
I want to call this the E4.
Why?
Because it's the Electronic Entertainment Expo Extravaganza.
There we go. Cool. All right.
I've got more of those. Do you
Really?
want me to? No,
Yeah,
I don't. No, I'm done.
No, come on. By all means.
No, I said I don't. Back off,
Fine.
motherfucker.
So E3 has happened this week. It's been the big news and the big stuff and...
Yeah, E3 is good because all the shit that hasn't happened in the last couple of weeks has now happened.
Finally.
So we've actually got something to talk about.
Yeah.
Like games and stuff.
Well, I mean, let's get straight. I guess most of the people that are listening to this would have been following all the stuff that happened. We're going to bring it all up and then talk about it, I guess.
That's brilliant.
I
That's
know.
a totally new concept
I'm
for
sorry.
a podcast,
I feel
man.
like I'm just introducing... what am I doing? But yeah, well, look, let's start off with the presentations.
Yeah, the press conferences are always what lead up. Microsoft led up first with theirs on Tuesday morning. I'm always confused about the times because they're in the US and stuff. But yeah, Microsoft led. I actually thought they did a pretty good job. Their big announcement was, of course, Project Natal or Natal or whatever it is, which is
based on it's a country, isn't it? Is it not
Nepal?
okay? No,
you might be thinking of.
I think it's based on somewhere where it's from, as in where the technology was created.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I actually thought it was an abbreviation for natural, like natural sort of thing, like a sort of a weird take on that.
I'm trying to move on as fast as possible.
I don't think it's the final version or name of it because it's called
Project
Natal.
Yeah, it's definitely that's the prototype name they've been using for quite a while with it. So,
what do you think of it, though?
Well, I don't want to sound like a doubter. I certainly don't want to sound like I'm anti-natal.
Oh, dude.
Do you like that?
Yeah, no, I don't. No, I got it, but I don't like it.
I'm. It's one of those things. I agree with what everyone else is saying, which is if it works, it will be fucking awesome.
It does work.
You can say that, but I don't know that.
Okay, well...
And I don't trust your opinion.
Right.
So...
look, just to put it out there for anyone that doesn't know what it does, it's a camera that sits on top of the Xbox 360. It tracks X, Y, and Z axis.
Yeah.
It maps a...
Just for those who are stupid, like Yug, who probably had to look that up, that includes depth of field.
Easy, son. But it also detects 42 points on the human body skeletal system.
Yeah.
So think of it like mocap in that respect.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of those points are actually on the face, so it detects facial recognition and, if you're smiling
expression, head movement.
Yeah, and it's not like the iToy where you need a pure white background behind you or anything like that as well.
The phrase I like is you have to be an emo in an igloo.
Right. Yeah. Well, this one you don't. It's also got an RGB camera, so it can detect colors, which is really good if you're playing, say, like a multiplayer quiz game or something like that.
Yep.
Doesn't matter where you're sitting because it knows who's who.
Yeah, and it's also got microphones built in, which are quite directional and is remarkably good at picking your position and your voice.
Yep.
Voice recognition stuff is built in as well, so it can tell not only who you are by your position, but by the sound of your voice, which is pretty cool.
The big selling point on this is, of course, you don't need a controller because you are the controller.
Yeah, exactly.
And the easiest way to describe it is think Minority Report.
Yeah.
That kind of level of interaction.
Exactly. Some pretty impressive stuff we've seen in there. They've got some videos that show what can be done with it. Now, these are, of course, bullshit made-up stuff that is what they expect you to believe it'll work like. Now, if it works like that, that's pretty impressive. They showed some things which I found kind of funny. One was they showed a guy doing a kid playing a fighting game, and he's like actually kicking, and the character on screen does the same. Now, you can tell me all you like that the technology can do that, which is fine, but I fucking can't.
Okay, all right.
Like,
oh yeah, no, I see where you're going.
I can't do that. I can't do any of Chun-Li's kicks. I can tell you that right now. So I'll be interested to see any fighting game that involves kicking in the shins extensively. I'll be right there.
It does get to that
girly
point,
slaps. If there's a girly slap fighting game, I'll rock it.
It does kind of beg the question, though. I mean, how much do you really want to imitate the characters on your screen? Because I mean,
because you'll die.
Well, you won't die. But I like we were talking the other day about this, and a good example is like the skateboarding stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe this might not be Natal, but just peripherals in general, sort of thing like that. Yeah. If you're on a skateboard, skateboard peripheral.
I can guarantee you the skateboard doesn't have to be moving for me to fall off the fucking thing.
There we go.
So, I think I'll die if any of these things come about. Project Natal is, I think, Natal,
whatever.
is I think probably the most ambitious thing of E3 and probably the one with the most capacity to do a lot and or fail abysmally.
And the most exciting and interesting. I'd actually say.
Did you buy any? Sorry.
I was going to say, for all the I think it's a stupid thing to say who won E3, but I would say that if you were going to do that, like some other stupid people would.
Oh, I was planning to.
I would say Microsoft easily.
Yeah, I actually we'll get on to Sony in a minute, but I think Microsoft have won it in theory.
Right.
But if Natal doesn't work, they don't have a lot else.
But
I didn't
Steven
think.
Spielberg introduced it, man. How can he be wrong?
I'm not saying that it is bad. I'm saying that if it is bad.
But Peter Molyneux was there talking about it. He's never wrong.
Peter Molyneux, yeah, he's certainly not one to talk a bunch of shit up and then have it turn into fucking nothing afterwards. Peter Molyneux, the Lionhead Studios, and did you know? Sorry, just to sidetrack, which has changed.
Of course.
He's moved. He's not at Lionhead anymore.
He's at EA, isn't he?
No, isn't it Microsoft? Somewhere at Microsoft. He's moved to their Microsoft corporate gaming division or something. He's the head of that now. So he's no longer at Lionhead. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, moving on. They did a tech demo of something called Milo. Did you see that?
Yeah, the creepy kid.
Yeah, Milo, I don't know if anyone's aware of the concept of the Uncanny Valley. But the Uncanny Valley is the principle that, and it was originally developed for robotics, and then it's used in computer animation as well. I know you know this, but but it's basically that as you make something more and more realistic, it reaches a point where people find it creepy,
right?
And dips into this valley where people dislike things because they're too human, but not human enough.
The valley.
A good example of this is. What's the movie? The Final Fantasy movie.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the Final Fantasy CG movie?
Yeah.
Everyone kind of looked a bit like a zombie, but just a bit. Like, it was good CG, but it was a bit...
Not the
sort
Advent
of
Children, you're talking about the other one before that, right? With Steve Buscemi
The Spirits Within.
The voices.
The Spirit Within, yeah. Right. It was kind of a bit creepy, but in any case, after a while, as it gets better and better and better, it rises back up again.
Right.
Once it looks really human, then it's likable.
So bring this back to that Milo kid?
Bringing it back to that Milo kid, he's in the Uncanny Valley, but only a little bit. He's getting out of the valley. He's like climbing. You can see he's got a hand pulling himself out of the valley. But he's still a bit creepy. And the technology is impressive. We were watching it. I was watching it with Talia, and I did get violence put on me by... Because I basically turned to her and said, I actually think this is really impressive technology because... If they can simulate a little boy in this kind of environment,
oh, dude!
And she started throwing shit at me and hitting me. She's like, "Don't say it, don't fucking."
You're not helping your case. Whatever it is.
Yeah,
being not creepy.
Yeah, so I just think there's potential. All I'm saying.
Oh, dude. God, why do you have to go there? Microsoft did have a lot of other stuff to show off as well.
Yeah.
Alan Wake and a lot of...
Alan Wake and Heavy Rain I put in a very similar category. Impressive, incredible use of storytelling, cinematics, and action. Bit suspicious about the gameplay.
Did you ever play the Max Payne games?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever play Indigo Prophecy or Fahrenheit?
No.
Right. Okay. You need to play that.
Okay.
It'll give you a good indication of why people are so excited about Heavy Rain.
Yeah, no.
And why there's so much faith in it.
I know, but I saw a bunch of stuff the other day. I was reading some things talking about Heavy Rain and one particular scene from it. And it was like, you then have the opportunity to do this QuickTime event or this QuickTime event. And I'm like, you know what? How about fucking no QuickTime events and just let me play a fucking game?
All right.
So having especially good QuickTime events does not blow my balls off at all.
Good. That's probably a good thing.
It is a good thing in retrospect, so I'm glad.
I think one of the other things that I just wanted to mention that Microsoft showed off, and you know what? Most of you are probably going to scoff at this, but I think it's cool, which is the integration of Xbox Live with Facebook, Twitter, and Last.fm.
I actually was not aware of that.
So they're basically building that into the interface so people can, communicate using those tools.
That's pretty cool.
I think this is a very cool thing because you don't have forums on Xbox Live. You don't have the ability to actually talk to people that you don't know that aren't on your friends list, unless you're playing against them in a random game. But even then, most of the time they're fuckwits. But it's this is a nice extra,
a broader
additional
community.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And for a Twitter whore like myself, I like the idea that I don't have to get up off my ass, walk upstairs to the computer to make a Twitter post. I can do it in the comfort of my living room, taking 5 minutes longer on the control pad.
Yes. Yeah, that's interesting. I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't that impressed by their showing of games, I must admit, because there was a real focus on Halo.
The OS.
Yeah, there was the OSDT, and there was Halo Reach as well, which was announced. Neither of those do anything for me at all.
Yep.
Because they have the word Halo in them.
Okay, well let's get on to games then. I want to move on to Nintendo, whose presentation was next to E3, and this one I think is the most controversial.
Yeah, I would like to. I'm not sure how to do it into a microphone without making horrible noises, but imagine me making a snore sound now. And just that for the next
No,
save.
go for it. That was alright. That was decent. If not completely fake. You can stop now. That's fine.
No, I need to keep doing this. I'll keep doing this while you talk about Nintendo, alright?
Oh, fine, okay.
No, alright.
I watched I stayed up at 2 a.m. and actually watched the presentation.
Oh, yeah.
And as I watched it, I'm just like, you've got to be kidding. This is... Where do they think they are? I actually found out that on the ASX, the stock exchange, Microsoft actually changed their company from a games company to a lifestyle company.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's I mean, it's an accurate sign of where they're going. And you know what? Why wouldn't they either? Because frankly, they're doing so well with this previously untapped market. Of course, they're going to start bringing out things like, I don't know, women's books on the DS and or cops or whatever it is.
Sorry, you said Microsoft.
I meant Nintendo. Sorry.
Okay,
was
that
I
makes more
confusing
sense.
the hell out of you?
Yeah, no, I thought you were going back to Nintendo and we're going to back to Microsoft and we're contrasting that with something Nintendo did.
No. So Nintendo's presentation, on first glance, and I'll get back to this in a second, it was... Okay, first of all, regardless of anything I say, I was extremely disappointed that they were repeating the Wii Motion Plus and the Beach Resort again. And we saw that last year, guys.
And all that same shit about how they're selling very well, and there are more non-gamers than gamers, so they're a bigger untapped market, and blah, blah, blah. It was all stuff I'd seen before.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that really pisses me off is that I get that the Wii has a much larger demographic and target demographic than hardcore gamers. I understand that. I grasp it. And the DS. But it's... I loved Reggie. I really used to love Reggie, but when they get up and they're just as excited about the new Book Club game coming out on the DS as they are about the new Mario game.
The Women's Murder Club game.
Yeah, you know what? I've lost all faith in you because you're one or the other. You can't bridge that gap. Sorry.
Well, the funny thing was there was a different woman. I didn't catch who she was. I didn't see her introduction, but there was a woman introducing the DS style of things, and she reminded me of Super Nanny, and she actually kind of terrified me a little bit. And
it's the woman in a suit thing, isn't it?
No, it's not just that. I would have no issue with a woman in a suit. It was just something about her presentation felt like she was selling the DS a little too hard, and B, scolding me for something I did. And
she does have that school teacher look about her.
She does, yeah. She scared me a little bit. I was not that keen on her. But
actually, I recently watched one of the previous Nintendo E3 presentations from a couple of years ago, and had her up on it again, showing the same thing: Wii Motion Plus and Beach Resort, and like getting all up there and getting interactive. There's nothing more silly actually than watching people in business suits actually play the Wii. That just doesn't work on so many levels.
Yeah, and you'd think that by now they would kind of go, you know what, we're a fun company. Let's wear a polo shirt or something, anything.
But here's the thing: after watching that presentation, then getting disappointed and going to sleep early, and this is, and after being wowed so much with Microsoft, I think a lot of people were really, wow, that's exciting, and it was just and the thing that tracks you put on your finger.
Yeah,
it's got that tracks your.
I kind of live blogged the Nintendo conference, and mostly that was just me writing down notes and then posting it on the site.
Yeah.
They said that one thing that they're going to be able to use it to do is to track excitement, or to help people like meditate and help people sleep. And my immediate thought was, or you could just show them this press conference.
Valid. But here's the thing. The next day I had to think about it, and I watched the presentation again, and I actually realized that they did cater to the hardcore gamers.
A bit, yeah. They did have a couple of games.
A lot. Because,
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. You know what? Everyone that watches a Nintendo conference, you know what they want? They want a new Mario game, new Zelda game. They want these new games of old franchises. We're all, hey, yeah, we, looking forward to seeing this. Not only did they have one Mario game, they had 4 new Mario games coming out. They have a brand new Metroid game done by
that looks interesting. I'll give them Metroid. Team Ninja.
Team Ninja. Which looks really cool.
Mm.
They had the Golden Sun DS. That's
Fuck that. Fuck that right in the balls.
Ooh.
Because the thing is, that's all Nintendo had, and that's all Nintendo have left, is doing the same shit over and over. Point out something they have done that wasn't a cock-headed thing that you put on your finger, that isn't something they've just done over and over for the last fucking 20 years. Point one thing out, apart from the Women's Murder Club.
Their hardware. They're always the innovators of brand new hardware.
Great.
And brand new control schemes and systems.
4 years ago you had me there, now continue.
The Wii Fit board? The Motion Plus?
No. I'm not talking about what they've done in the last...
games.
No, fuck you. I'm talking about at E3 this year.
Right.
Tell me something they did that wasn't just a recycled rehash. And
Okay. No, I
really liked
what?
Golden Sun on when I played it last.
4-player simultaneous Super
Mario
Brothers on
more
the Wii.
Super Mario Brothers. Cool. It could be fun, and they've added multiplayer.
It's that Little Big Planet feel. I like the look of it. What I'm saying is that I watched it again and I thought actually there's all these games that they've talked about, and a lot of them I'm actually really excited about. I look at it, I'm like, I read Mario Galaxy 2 while everyone's going, oh, it's just Super Mario Galaxy 2. Fuck off. It actually looks like a lot of fun to play. And you know what? Super Mario Galaxy 1 was fucking awesome.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying the Emperor's got no clothes. The Emperor does have clothes, but they're the same fucking clothes he was wearing last week.
Well,
I'm sick of the Emperor's clothes. The Emperor's clothes now fucking bore me.
Dude, this happens.
And I'm sick of the Emperor, and I think the Emperor's a cunt.
What fucking ever, man. This happens every time Nintendo bring out a new console anyway. They just recycle the same characters, the same games, and you know what? They're just as fucking awesome. Everyone plays them, and they are so fucking good.
Yeah, well, no. Fanboy says what?
Fuck off. And you know what? I'm usually one of the first ones to be critical of it. Then I'll play the game. It's like, that was such a good...
No, you're not. You're the last one to be critical.
I'm not.
You're the first one to get up in the morning and go, well, you know what?
No.
Nintendo had a little brain fart and did absolutely nothing, but how can I possibly justify that? How can I reconcile that with my inner child?
Bullshit. I'm the typical Nintendo fanboy-ish. And don't get me wrong, I grew up with Nintendo and Sega, equal love for both. But
he just kissed his fingers and then tapped the microphone. Does that mean
something?
Was
some gangster sign of some sort.
I don't know. Anyway,
but Nintendo fanboys are the first ones to demand, new stuff. They want, they are, it's like, I'm sick of the same old Mario and Zelda and stuff like that, and yet we'll buy it and we love it, and it's this cycle that's been repeating. You're right, for 20 years, but it works. Not only does it work, not only are Nintendo first-party games the highest selling of any system.
I have not at any point disputed the fact that Nintendo fans are sheep. I'm not. This is not in question. You're right, they are.
Look, I'm just saying that after watching that presentation initially and being really bored and, kind of down about it.
MSNing me about how fucking shit it was.
Yeah. That was right about the time the book club stuff was happening.
Yeah. And I believe your words were, fuck this shit, I'm going to bed.
Yep, that was it.
And then in the morning you're like, you know what? That was great.
No, not that was great. I think my mind was clouded by it because they did have all this other stuff that has no appeal to the hardcore gamers out there, especially the hardcore Nintendo fans out there. And that dominated their actual presentation. But if you look at the games individually, there's a lot to get excited about on the Nintendo platforms. That's all I'm saying. Okay?
Whatever.
All right?
Yeah?
I'm looking... New Super Mario Brothers on the Wii. That's going to be
looks fun.
Awesome.
It does. It looks really fun.
Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii. That looks like they're all good. And you know what? Golden Sun on the DS? Fuck you. It looks good. The first two were awesome. Why would this one not be?
Because it's the same fucking game.
No, it's not.
It's a DS port. It's not a sequel. It's a port of the original.
Yeah, so Shut up.
So they're releasing not even just the same fucking recycled franchise bullshit that they've done previously for every other fucking franchise they own, but it's the same game.
You know what? This conversation is going round in circles.
All right, let's move on to Sony.
Sony.
What do you think of Sony's?
I actually knew what their controllers were going to be. I knew about the Natal as well, previously because of other stuff I do. And I was expecting to be disappointed. Because to me, what I knew was, it's a working Wiimote and it looks like a light bulb.
Essentially, my comments on that have been that they've basically done the Wii Remote 4 years later.
But I have to say, I was really impressed.
It actually looked like it worked pretty well.
Not only did it look like it worked really well, they did something that no one else does, and I'm sure the Natal does this, but Sony just did it they presented it in such a great way, which is showing you in the game. Interacting and actually hold. So basically, the thing from Sony is they've got this. Yeah, it's like a Wiimote, except it's got this extra thing on the top of it, and it can track it in 1-to-1.
Yep.
And it uses the iToy actually, which I thought was interesting as well. Great for people with the iToy. Those without.
Well, it's actually not called the iToy anymore. That was the PlayStation 2 version. The new one is the PlayStation Eye.
Right.
Which is it's not a toy anymore. It's
no, it's serious stuff.
Yep.
But the being able to actually see yourself in the game, holding these swords or these whips or these guns and everything like that was really cool. It
was fun, yeah.
Quite dug that. And then they got 2 of them out and they were able to do complex movements and things like that. That doesn't impress me as much because, frankly, I think that would be better on the Natal. But still,
it seemed to work and it was quite interesting. I expected to be not. I expected to be pretty underwhelmed by that. And I thought it was pretty cool. It does seem that this motion control thing is not going away.
No,
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, no,
and
definitely.
Probably little else.
I think the one thing that Sony did really well that certainly Microsoft didn't was they showed it. They showed it on stage live, doing exactly what they said it was going to do, and that's not something to be scoffed at.
No, it actually looked pretty impressive. The other thing that they did that I didn't think Microsoft did as well was they showed a metric twat load of games.
They did, and really fucking impressive announcements. Even things like, yes, we're going to have Final Fantasy 13 and 14.
And by the way, here's Final Fantasy 14, and everyone went, holy fucking shit.
Yeah. And we've got the exclusive of Rockstar's next Agent.
The Agent,
sort of thing.
yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck. Okay, just all this stuff that was
Now, that's a logo at this point.
No, there's footage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't able to find any footage.
There's because it was playable on the show floor at E3. So there's footage floating around out there.
Cool, I'll have to have a look.
It's tough to know what to think of it at this point.
Well, we'll see. Rockstar have a pretty good reputation, and I'm certainly willing to cut them some slack.
They've almost got an immaculate reputation.
They do,
I was thinking about this the other day. I can't... Probably the only one I could think of to criticize would be State of Emergency.
Really?
Yeah. Which wasn't even done by a Rockstar studio.
Then why are you criticizing them for that?
Because they it was a Rockstar. They published it, sort of thing.
Well,
anyway.
They've certainly earned the respect of gamers, and I think we'll all be interested to see what they do with that one. And it's a big coup for Sony.
Yeah.
They had a lot to show, and not all of them were exclusives, but some pretty impressive exclusives.
Especially Uncharted 2.
Heavy Rain, Uncharted 2 looked incredible.
Fucking awesome. And cool. And you know what? The speech between the characters in the Heavy Rain thing was just cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was quite impressed with what they showed as games. Now, this is why I would be questioning whether to give the mantle of winner of E3 to Microsoft, because Sony have played it pretty traditionally, yeah, sure. Pretty much straight down the line, and they haven't really taken a lot of risks, but they I think with the games they kind of hit it out of the park a bit. I think they did a really good job with the games,
sure,
of what they had to show, but they didn't take any risks, and those risks, if Microsoft do well, those risks will really pay off.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If Natal doesn't work, they didn't have a lot to show.
My one worry with Natal is software. That's something that Microsoft, especially from a first-party point of view, has always kind of struggled with, whereas Sony and Nintendo always do such a really, really good job of first-party software. If Natal's going to work, they've really got to make sure the software supports it.
Yeah, well, from what I understand, they're actually going to be packing it in with all of the consoles from now or something, aren't they?
I think so. Where it comes out.
Yeah. Which is quite a way off still, but.
So yeah.
I do honestly think Natal will work. I have to admit, I think that it will work, which is why I'm willing to concede Microsoft might have won this one.
Yep.
Nintendo didn't. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But Sony, I think the thing with Sony is that Microsoft may well win next E3 with Natal, but they won't win this. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I see what you're saying.
All the Sony stuff that we saw that was really impressive will be out before next E3.
They certainly didn't have any giant enemy crab slip-ups, which is a shame for those YouTube producers out there everywhere.
We'll just have to show really cool footage of interesting games that are coming quite soon, which is a bit disappointing.
Yeah,
Sony have actually... That was something else I said in one of our recent updates, is that one thing I noticed about the Sony presentation is there was a sense of honesty and humility to it that was new for Sony. They've always had a bit of a reputation for sort of distant arrogance.
Sure.
And they seem to be losing that. They seem to have a sort of humility and humor that I think is something that they've been lacking in the past. And I was really glad to see that.
A couple of things, well, actually, one in particular that I noticed with the Sony's presentation, or didn't notice with their presentation, where was Insomniac? Ratchet and Clank. The next Ratchet and Clank game has actually been
promoted quite heavily.
Was it?
There was quite a bit of footage of it. You may just not have recognised it. It was gameplay footage, and it was just Ratchet running around and shooting things. But it was certainly there. I noticed it.
All right, fair enough. So, I mean, was there anything else at E3 that actually, that wasn't in the press conferences? I mean,
just before we leave the press conferences, there was also mention of the PSP Go, which had been leaked previously. Yeah. I'm actually quite interested in that now. It is a tiny little unit. And bear in mind, I've still got one of the launch PSPs.
Yep.
And it's 50% smaller than the launch PSP. And
of course it is, because it doesn't have any cartridges.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll probably get one. I'll probably trade in my original PSP.
Of course you will, you
one.
Sony fanboy.
Dude, I've avoided 3 generations of hardware upgrade.
No, you always defend the PSP, man.
No, I don't. Stick. I've been criticising the PSP more than just about anyone else.
No, it's a love-hate relationship.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, so something else that I wanted to mention in regards to Sony is what they didn't announce, which is anything to do with the price cut and anything to do with the Slim.
Yeah, I know.
Noticeable absences, both of those.
But there were rumours that wasn't going to be announced until Tokyo Game Show. Tokyo Game Show.
Game Show, yeah. A lot of people are saying that they're basically leaving any announcement out so they can clear stock of the existing unit.
I don't think anyone really wants to announce price cuts at the moment, so, alright, fair enough.
No, so it'd be interesting to see if anything happens with that. But something else I just wanted to say before we leave the Sony thing is they also announced a whole bunch of games coming to the PlayStation Store, original PlayStation games. And the first cab off the rank, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Now, I had a bit of a check on that because they said that they were going to release it like Thursday.
Right.
But that was for the US store. And it always takes ages for stuff to come out. But just before I came over, I went and had a look on the PlayStation Store, and it's sitting there ready to download, playable on the PSP and PlayStation 3.
Question for you. Is there any update to the graphics, or have they tweaked it at all?
I haven't got it yet. I'll probably download it tonight.
I'm really interested to know that.
Yeah, me too. It'll be interesting to see how it looks. If it's even the most basic update, and they did a PC port that had higher graphics, and maybe it'll be...
No, I actually played the PC version of Final Fantasy VII first. I never played the PlayStation 2?
No, PS1, man.
Jesus. I never played that version. I played it on PC, and one thing that actually really stuck out was, you could crank up the resolution, but the background images of the levels were still low res.
Yeah,
so the characters were
relatively
crisp, very square and crisp.
Yeah.
But the background images were always very...
See, it's funny that you say that, because it was like the opposite when you were playing on the PlayStation. Right. Because the TV is relatively low resolution, and you ended up with these like blocky polygon, rough characters and these really rough textures and stuff on these really nice backgrounds.
It's funny that Sony are doing that, because Microsoft have actually just announced that they're stopping the release of... Well, they've finished. They're done with the release of Xbox.
I heard
Original.
that. There's like one last one coming out.
One last one coming out, and that's it. Sorry, I should mention Australia specifically, that I'm not sure if it's Netflix, but the whole thing with...
QuickFlix or something?
Whatever it is, that's that whole system that's been available in the States for ages, where you can download TV shows and movies and things like that. That's coming to the Australian Xbox.
That's particularly interesting for those on IONET who got it for free. The other thing, another similar thing, is that the PlayStation Network is opening a music video.
Are we competing between? No, Microsoft's doing this.
No. It's just interesting to contrast the two. Both networks are pretty crippled by comparison to their US, counterparts, and it's interesting to see them slowly unlocking new features for the market. It is very slow, and it is a pity that our internet is so fucked. But that's just life.
Isn't there some upgrade thing that the Rudd government's going through to make things 100 times faster or something?
Oh my God! Do you keep up with things at all?
Didn't I just say that?
National Broadband Network.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, that'll be a while off though.
Yeah. So I guess, was there anything else at E3 that particularly stood out?
Yeah, there were some other games. Assassin's Creed 2 looks impressive. Yeah. That looks pretty cool.
I actually I didn't play Assassin's Creed when it first came out. I only just finished it, played through it and finished it a couple of weeks ago. Because it's just it's a game I'd always wanted to play. And look, I really enjoyed it, just to leisurely play through it. And I am so excited I'm actually peeing a little about Assassin's Creed 2. Not so much the new settings of it, because I thought Assassin's Creed, the first one, was great. Just there were some flaws and some a lot of repetitive stuff that held it back. So if they can just release Assassin's Creed, but just fix the fucked bits.
Well, apparently what they've really gone for in this varied gameplay. That's the real key they want, is gameplay that's more diverse and interesting. Oh,
and sorry, no, I won't spoil this for anyone, but my fucking God, I could not stand the cliffhanger ending in Assassin's Creed. They better fucking continue whatever this fucking story is.
Yeah.
That shit me to tears.
There were some other games that really impressed me. One of them, and totally failed to mention this when we're talking about Sony, God of War 3. My God, that looks fucking cool.
Yeah, you can't go past Kratos.
Yeah, so that looks cool. That's a pretty big one for Sony. I've no doubt they'll be butchering animals again for this.
No doubt, yep.
There were quite a few others. Fuel looks really interesting. Borderlands looks very cool.
Yep. Fuel comes out in a couple of weeks, actually.
I know. That's not too far away. Same with Prototype. That's looking interesting.
Prototype comes out here June 10th.
Yeah.
What's worth? And go into the competition right now on AustralianGamer.com.
Indeed.
Where you can get Prototype and a figurine.
Yeah. There were. I mean, that was another big one. Mod Nation Races. Did you see anything about that?
No.
Mod Nation Races is basically looking to do for the kart racing genre what Little Big Planet did for platformers. It's again a PlayStation 3 exclusive, and is a very, very cool little toolkit for making kart racing tracks.
Isn't that a Nintendo one?
No, it's
Sony one.
It just looks like it.
Didn't Nintendo do something where you can build your own levels on the DS?
Yeah, there's a little DS kind of mini game creator type deal. I think it's a DSiWare thing.
It's a WiiWare thing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe we might be at odds.
I know that you can put them up and share your levels with other people and all that kind of stuff. So that's good.
But yeah, this Mod Nation Race is an incredible looking, really, really gorgeous, and the actual racing game looks fun, and the ability to create your own levels and stuff, create your own tracks, it looks like a lot of fun. And considering how good some of the user-created levels are for Little Big Planet, it'll be really interesting to see what people do.
I don't remember that. I'm going to
have a bit of a look, because they did a presentation as part of the Sony conference, and it was pretty impressive. Technically,
I want to check that out, because one of the other games I've been playing a bit recently is Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which I actually think is criminally underrated.
Really?
And you build almost from scratch sort of thing, your own vehicles, whatever you want. It's really, really creative, and by being able to create your own vehicles to do whatever you want, there's just so much freedom to be able to do. Yeah.
Another video that we saw that quite interested me was the Old Republic.
Yeah.
MMO.
Hold on, is that BioWare?
BioWare.
Yeah.
BioWare MMO set in the Star Wars universe. MMOs for Star Wars have been tried before, it didn't work, but it's possible the Old Republic will break that.
Look, frankly, that whole almost any game that's set before the movies at the moment seems to be a winning thing.
The video that we saw was just CG, and it looked really interesting. The question remains what sort of scope there is for playable characters in that universe that are interesting.
And the Jedi died at the end of it.
Yeah, which is
bad guys rule.
Was that like an early Vader? Was that the impression?
It kind of looked like, because he's got the breathing mask and
everything. I think it was Vader just after he got kind of fucked up, but just before he got the full suit?
Well, I don't know, because Old Republic... I don't think so.
I got a little confused by the politics in that video and who was the speaking character and so on. But in any case,
did you see the stuff for BioWare's other one, Dragon Age?
I saw a bit. It looks interesting, but it's one I'm going to have to look a little bit more into. I think because there's been this just glut of information, we're going to have to kind of sort through the debris after
it's
E3.
Full on. I went to a thing called Framework up in Brisbane a while ago, and there was a guy called David Gator, who's the lead writer at BioWare, and he came and actually talked about and showed off some of the scenes in Dragon Age.
Nice.
Dragon's Age. And he was saying that he's been working on it, writing for this game for 6 years.
Wow.
6 years, one game, and that compared to all the previous BioWare games, it's by far the most text that they've ever written.
Considering they're pretty wordy.
Yeah, which is really impressive and really cool for anyone that really wants to get into the hardcore sort of RPG kind of games.
Do you know what other game really caught my attention and it didn't deserve to? Well, no, it deserved to, but it's probably going to be a bit of a surprise.
Go on.
Bat Princess. Have you seen much of Bat Princess?
A little bit.
It's a PlayStation Network game, and it's basically capture the flag if the flag is a fat bitch. But the princess, you capture the princess, and you've got her held hostage, but you can feed her cake to make her heavier. So when they try to capture her, they need more people to carry her.
All right.
Which is a really interesting mechanic and quite entertaining. But it's these cutesy little characters. Think of something like Castle Crashers style a little bit.
I think I've actually seen a bit of this.
And it's bright and it's colourful and it's cheery and it's incredibly brutally violent. Like you see these little characters running around and then you see like close-ups and they're walking on like the teeth of fallen soldiers and stuff, and there's limbs flying around and stuff. It's just the cartooniness and the red of blood is very cool.
Something that Castle Crashers showed us is cartoon violence. Actually, no, serious violence with cartoon characters.
Yeah, it does work.
Especially with
something else that I was just reminded of was, did you see the video? You might want to actually watch the entire of Sony's press conference, but Mag. We saw a bit more of Mag, massive action game, worst name in the world.
Player online at the same time.
They showed 256 players in a simultaneous game. Now that's fucking incredible, and it looked really, really cool. And the idea of playing this kind of scope of battle is a really nice thing. So that impressed me from a technical point of view, if nothing else.
At the very least, yeah. One other game, and I guess we're probably starting.
Oh, we're way over time.
Right. Okay. Well, perhaps the last one that is interesting is Monkey Island.
Yeah, seeing the revival.
Which is the original Monkey Island, which they've now put into full 3D. So it's the same characters, Guybrush Threepwood and all that, and the same dialogue. And the dialogue and the puzzles were always the strong points of the Monkey Island game. So, and I am ashamed to admit that I only briefly played the original Monkey Island games.
Right. And
I kind of wonder if I play this one without knowing what all the jokes and all the great setups of the original game are, am I going to enjoy it? Am I going to get the same sort of experience out of it? Or am I going to be put off a little bit by the graphics, which look very kind of
I know what you mean.
Childish.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see closer.
It's by Traveller's Tales, the same guys that did the Sam and Max episodic content. That was pretty good. So
that was another game that we were very impressed to see, Talia and I. Lego Harry Potter. Did you see that? Wonderful. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. And they're actually doing another Indiana Jones, Lego Indiana Jones 2, which is just the same shit plus the crappy fourth movie. And I'm not buying that. I can honestly say I'm not buying that.
I've never really bought into the Indiana Jones Lego because the problem is there's no other characters that really want to play as.
There's Indy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the problem. With Lego Star Wars...
You can play as short, stop, round, whatever it is. The guy with the hat.
Yeah, short round.
The kid from Goonies.
Is it the same kid?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, with Lego Star Wars, you can be, alright, well, maybe I'm not Darth Vader, but I'm Darth Maul. Or Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Luke, or Han Solo.
Even being fucking R2-D2 is cool in that game.
Yeah, and kind of fun, but the Lego Batman had the same issue. What if you're not Batman, you're fucking Robin. You might as well just
Careful
go.
How you phrase that.
True. Yeah, so Robin was always the queerest character ever. I don't have any issue with gay people, but I don't necessarily want to not be Batman, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, fair enough. God, we could just keep going and just listing games, but I do want to actually say it was interesting to see some gameplay from DJ Hero.
Apparently it was really good. I heard people say they were really surprised by how well it actually worked and how entertaining it was.
Yeah. Well, I guess it would be, wouldn't it? I suppose,
maybe.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Another thing, we'll just keep going, but a Rock Band Beatles, that looks like
the trailer for that was really cool and impressive, and
it looks like it'll be pretty good. 145 Beatles tracks, that's pretty fucking incredible. 145 tracks on the fucking thing, which can you even imagine the cost of buying that library?
Are they going to do a bullshit thing and say, and including a bunch of songs that the Beatles liked? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. Possibly. It'll be
I
really
hope not.
It'd be funny if they put
songs inspired by the Beatles.
Inspired by the Beatles.
Wow, yeah.
Or 87 covers of Beatles songs. Because God knows they've been covered.
I wonder if they'd probably put in a lot of live performances and things like that, maybe?
Yeah, I think some of them are live. It's interesting to see the trailer. It's worth watching, if nothing else. Just for the later period where they're in the psychedelic phase and the elephants and stuff. I was really impressed. So they've obviously put some money into it.
So, look, I got to say that E3 this year, I don't know if impressed is the right word, but it just makes me a bit all warm and fuzzy.
I was just going to say I feel satisfied by this year's E3. Yeah. Everyone seems to have done their homework and put in a good selling.
It's
Nintendo, like nice try, not enough.
Oh, fuck you.
Try better next time.
It's like I went to a restaurant, I ordered a meal sort of thing, and it met my requirement. It wasn't. Yes. It didn't. I didn't go away and go, fuck, that was the best steak I've ever had. I was like, that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. It's a tick in the box, meets requirements.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So good. Well, that's been our E3 blathering on.
Yeah, well, you guys have all seen the same shit as we have. So I don't know why you listen to us. But we'll have a look at more videos. The Australian Gamer has been kind of loaded up with videos to the point where I had to build a system to make it easy to put videos into it. I
hope you have enjoyed our coverage of other people's coverage as well.
Yeah, we do meta coverage. Oh, one other thing, just quickly, Destructoid have it. I'll put a link to this on AustralianGamer.com. But Edge of Twilight is looking incredible, and I was watching the trailer for it the other day, and I was actually I don't know if he listens to this, but I was really impressed with the music. Yeah. I was just sitting there, and I'm like, all of a sudden I started listening to the music, and I'm like, holy crap, that's really nice music. And then I suddenly remembered it's actually by Mick Gordon who did
Game Audio Australia,
who actually also did our podcast music. So you're going to hear him in a few seconds.
Yes, indeed. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, see you guys later.